The conference is called Planet Under Pressure, and you know, there are many calculations that show that if everybody on the planet lived at the sort of level of prosperity that we have in Europe or the United States, we would need several planets in order to provide the food, the fibre, the energy, all the rest of it, and indeed to cope with the what we might call pollutants, the emissions that are wastes. So this conference is really, as we lead up to Rio plus 20, 20 years now since the Rio conference, it's looking at, well, where are we? We obviously know ever such a lot more about the planet than we did then, how it functions and the trajectory that it's on. But actually it's all been a bit of a failure, really, in the sense that humanity has proved itself incapable either of believing it, or even when it does believe it, getting a grip on the impact that it's having on the planet. So that's what this conference is attempting to explore. Well, you see, it seems to me that the physical scientists have done a good job. Let's call them the natural scientists, have done a good job in figuring out what's happening to the planet, more or less how it functions, and more or less what the consequences are going to be. Obviously, there are huge uncertainties, and predicting the exact future is something that's actually impossible, particularly in a complex system like the Earth. But what I think is proving to be the problem is it's the intersection with society. It's actually defining, well, what will be the consequences? What are the threats? What are the risks that we're running? We can talk about them in very general terms, but to both people and politicians and business people, all three parts of society that have to work together, really coherently to solve this problem. That sort of rather vague, gosh, it looks a bit gloomy down there, but we can't tell you precisely what's going to happen, doesn't cut the ice. And people say, well, that's very interesting, come back and tell us when you know a bit more about it. In the meantime, I've got to get food on the table, and my business needs to make a profit, I need to be re-elected next year, and so other issues take priority. And what we haven't found is a way of getting that traction, and until we do, then I think the future does look a little gloomy.